Hey guys, it's 242 here, and today I'm going to read you 3 stories from the subreddit Am I the Butthole? So sit back, relax, and let me tell you these stories. Am I the butthole for taking back the beer I bought for a party from which I was uninvited? This happened just a few hours ago. I'm a 19-year-old male, and the people calling me a butthole are 18 years old, men and women. On Thursday, a person I had a major crush on in high school, but who rejected me, messaged me out of the blue. She had never contacted me without my contacting her first, and at one point I realized she had blocked me on all social media, and so I found it odd that she was suddenly being friendly. After sending a couple greetings/questions about how I've been, she said she was going to have some people over and wanted to know if I wanted to get the beer. The drinking age where we are is 19, and she and the people who were going to chill were all 18. The liquor store in my area all card. I thought it was silly that my being a month older meant I could buy liquor and they couldn't, and so I said I would love to go. She said,
"Thanks, I'll pick you up at 7.
7 o'clock rolled around and she texted me to say she was in front of my house. I went out dressed and ready to chill with some people. She drove me to the liquor store. When we got there, I asked her what beer she wanted me to get, and she told me Budweiser. I hid my disappointment as well as I could, but it was her party, so I went in and bought 2 cases of 24. I got back in the car and said, "Let's party!" and she was eerily quiet. I noticed that she wasn't driving towards her neighborhood, but rather back towards mine. I thought she had moved or something, but didn't want to press the issue. When she turned down my street, I finally figured it out. She was being purposely vague about the invitation because she wanted me to get the beer, but she wanted a way out when she told me I wasn't actually invited in the first place. She stopped in front of my house, leaned over, kissed me on the cheek, and said,
"Thanks,"
in her best voice. I deadpanned her and asked when she was going to tell me I wasn't invited. She feigned surprise and said she never intended to invite me in the first place. I sat in silence for a long, awkward minute, picked up the beer, and walked towards my front door. She got out of the car and frantically tried to re-invite me to the party. I told her that what she did was the most humiliating thing that's ever happened to me. I opened my front door, slammed it a bit too hard, and came back to my room. Now, I'm sitting here drinking absolutely unpalatable piss water and have text messages from all her friends and her asking me why I'm being such a Richard. I don't think I'm the butthole for reacting the way I did, but if you haven't figured it out, I'm not amazing socially, so I'm not sure. Am I here? No, OP, you're not the butthole. She invited you. Wait, no. Didn't invite you, but made you go buy the beer for her and her friends. So no, she's the butthole. You're not. You totally have all rights to take the beer back. But let's see what the comments say. Court in the middle says, "Not the butthole, blatantly. How did she expect this to go? You'd happily go buy her beer, then take it to the party, then leave, without partying or drinking your beer? They all have to have a bit cracked in the head if they believe this was going to work. I take a Snapchat of me pouring it down the toilet before I'd ever give it to them. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I hope you can move past what a nasty piece of work this girl, not woman, is." The one Mary says, "Not the butthole. Of course. OP, you got out cheap. Might be glad that she took the time to reject you in the first place. That kind of degrade of, the feeling of, other people usually doesn't stop for boyfriends either. And this could have cost you more than just those beers." And that's really what all the comments are saying. So with that, we're going to continue on. Am I the butthole for not waking my girlfriend up for her exam after I overheard her calling me a little bee? My girlfriend has an online summer course and she had an exam for one of them this morning. I usually wake her up for pretty much everything because she sleeps through her phone alarm, no matter how long it buzzes or how many she sets. She has joked that I'm her butler before, and within the context of our relationship, it's okay, so I don't mind. Obviously, I want to love my partner and try to make her life easy. However, last night she was chatting with her friend, and she thought I couldn't hear. She was bragging that I'm her little bee and I do everything for her when she tells me to, etc. It really hurt my feelings because they were making comments like,
"Good, put him in his place."
And she was agreeing. She specifically said,
"Yeah, I'm not worried about tomorrow because the bee will make sure I'm up, and he'll probably have breakfast ready for me too."
I went to bed pretty hurt by it. And come morning, I didn't bother to wake her up when her alarm started to go off. She usually only gets up when someone physically shakes her, but I let her turn her alarm off and she slipped back into sleep, and I turned around and went back to sleep too. When she woke up, she was yelling at me, saying I'm a butthole and I've cost her the exam, and I'm a piece of garbage for what I did. Edit. I think we're breaking up. I told her this morning, and after, she called me a bee, for being upset, for being called a bee. But she says she's not done with me. I'm just trying to get through today's shift and then deal with this stuff later. I'll try and get back as I can. We've been together for a year and it was my first real relationship. I'm tired of her not acknowledging how garbage she made me feel and still calling me a bee. This word's really making me feel like garbage and small. Okay, OP is a little bit of a butt for not waking her up, but at the same time, why can't she wake up herself? But, saying that, he's not the butt in this situation. He went and talked to her, and she's not taking his feelings into consideration. It's all about her and how he can make her life better. This is not the right partner for him, and I really hope he broke up with her. But let's see what the comments say. Spicy Princess 1621, not the butthole. Your girlfriend sounds incredibly abusive. You shouldn't have to put up with that. Don't wait for any more red flags. Get out of this now. You deserve better. The one-armed penguin says, not the butthole. However, you really should consider your relationship and whether it's right for you. Assuming this is true, this story has more red flags than a combined Chinese and North Korea military parade. And really, that's what everyone's saying. It's red flag, get out. And yeah, I agree. Now that I've read those, yeah, it's a major red flag. She doesn't care about him. He's an object to her. Get out, OP. Get out now. And with that, let's go on to our next story. And our last story is, am I the butthole for telling my stepdaughter to stop using period products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? I have been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. She is 19, almost 20, and I have 3 sons aged 18, 16, and 15. She is really a good kid and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. My wife and my daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived a long period of time with a woman, nor have any of them had long-term girlfriends. They've had a short visitation period when they were younger, but never longer than an hour, so living with 2 women has been unusual for them. My eldest son, 18, came to me last week and told me that his stepsister disposed of a used sanitary product in the trash can they shared, but doesn't use the toilet roll or a sandwich bag to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. My sons are teenage boys and don't want to see their stepsister's period product on full display. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack, and she was doing some work for university. My wife had mentioned that she knew she was on her period, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. I told her my sons were uncomfortable and asked her if she'd mind putting her used product in a diaper bag or flushing them down the toilet. She laughed and told me it was rich coming from a man who sheds like gorilla and has produced 3 skid-marked sons, which I thought was an unnecessary attack. I've been nothing but nice to this girl, and it's hardly comparison. My sons shouldn't be subject to her unhygienic products if it makes them uncomfortable. She went on to lecture me on how tampons can't be flushed and that it's bad for the environment if she uses a diaper bag for every one, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff and told her it was my house and that what I say goes. I later asked my wife if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous, and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and knows what she's doing. When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons need to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. This is a genuine issue to me, and she didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same as her mother, completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the butthole? Yes, OP, you were the butthole, and this was hard to read for me. She can't control her period, you can't flush those down the toilet, and your sons kinda need to get used to it if they want girlfriends. So, yeah. There is an edit, but I'm going to read the comments before we read that. Man Without a Plan TO says, "You're the butthole." Sorry, but what? I'm a guy and I realize this is ridiculous. You need to help yourself and your sons become better men and accept that this is a natural process. Are you uncomfortable with your wife using the same? I assume not, so teach your sons to be better. Wish says, hijacking the top comment since I doubt OP will edit to add this in. He said in his reply that she wraps the pads/tampons in the packaging before throwing them away, so the sons can't even see any blood, and the garbage bin has a lid. This is beyond ridiculous. I'm not surprised the stepdaughter snapped. Okay, let's go with the update now. Not even 2 hours after I posted this, my wife and stepdaughter gathered my sons and I and gave us a full intensive period for pricks course, PowerPoint and all. It was a hoot. They made an interactive quiz and everything. My sons and I learned a lot and apologized to my stepdaughter. Thank you for your input. I can't believe she was doing everything she was supposed to and he was still game mad at her at first. But I love the mom and stepdaughter in this. They made a quiz, they made a course. That's amazing, and I partly love them over this. I'm happy that he turned around and basically went, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. That's great. I'm so happy that OP learned. And that's the end of our stories. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please hit that like button. If you'd like to hear more, please subscribe. And make sure to hit that shiny bell and hit all notifications. I hope you have a good day or good night, and see you next time. Bye!